come through.
Power for good, you can use it. Know that you can choose it. Power for good keeps on giving, magnifies our living. Power for good, you can use it. Know that you can choose it. Power for good keeps on giving every single day.
Live in the moment, embrace the thrill of how there is order through valley and hill. Cradle the passion, the purpose divine. Love never leaves us, come rain or come shine. Remember the power that lives within you. Ask and believe, then just watch it come through.
Power for good, you can use it. Know that you can choose it. Power for good keeps on giving, magnifies our living. Power for good, you can use it. Know that you can choose it. Power for good keeps on giving every single day.
Remember the power that lives within you. Ask and believe, then just watch it come through.
Power for good, you can use it. Know that you can choose it. Power for good keeps on giving, magnifies our living. Power for good, you can use it. Know that you can choose it. Power for good keeps on giving every single day. Power for good, you can use it. Know that you can choose it. Power for good keeps on giving, magnifies our living. Power for good, you can use it. Know that you can choose it. Power for good keeps on giving every single day. Power for good, you can use it. Know that you can choose it. Power for good keeps on giving, magnifies our living. Power
Good morning and welcome to Unity of Northeast Pennsylvania, a positive path to spiritual living. Today is our Sunday gathering as we talk about the power of wisdom, the astonishing clarity. And to me, with imagination, this is one of those powers that, though every other power supports it, is one of the ones that have led me to where I am today and has led a lot of people to where they are when they truly understand what this power can invoke within ourselves. And we all have this innate power. So stay tuned for our lesson, and of course I hope you enjoy our songs. But as always, first I want to thank you for being here today with us, whether it is live or later on in the day, catching up on your spiritual practices. Thank those who have joined me daily for our spiritual practice of Lent, and I hope you're getting something from that as well. But today we will focus on the power of wisdom, as it is also the month of wisdom. So make sure that we take our affirmations and our homework and practice and do what we need to do to truly be the true self that we are. So for right now, let's go ahead and close our eyes and let's just take a deep breath in, knowing that today is a day that we create. Today is a day that we go inside. And as we breathe out, let's just release anything that doesn't suit us, that doesn't serve us. Let's let go of the worry and anxieties. Let's just be here now in this time. This place is the only place where creation happens, because we are connected with one source, one God, one inspiration that comes through us and allows us to have that power of wisdom. Let's take another deep breath in. And as we release, just let it sink into this time, this place, this area, sink into your chair, grounded in the knowing that we are in this oneness. And today we realize that we are one with all our brothers and sisters. We know that in this energy field that we release the outer world and we enter into that chamber that our master teacher taught us, where we can be one, where we can be focused in on that intuitive knowing. And it is this day that we call upon the power of healing and joy and love. And we ask for it to be seen within our brothers and sisters as well as ourselves as we continue through these times. We see healing for those who are still being affected. We see clarity and openness for those still seeking the vaccine or have gotten the vaccine. And we see clarity and strength and knowing or wisdom for our leaders who are doing the best they can to bring us back to some normalcy in our world. And we know it's done because we say it is and so it is, and we let it be. And we say, thank you, God, Ashe, and Amen.
I hear a buzzing all around me, incessant chatter in my ears. I feel it pull me from my vision. It seems to amplify my fears. I find that quiet place inside me. I hear that spiritual voice. And if I want to stay connected, I have to make a simple choice. I'm gonna listen to myself, not gonna listen to anybody else. I'm gonna listen to myself, 'cause I'm the one who knows. I'm the one who knows. I'm gonna listen to myself, not gonna listen to anybody else. I'm gonna listen to myself, 'cause I'm the one who knows. I'm the one who knows. I'm feeling pulled in new directions. I hear your message loud and clear. I know that I I am always guided, and that I have nothing to fear. When I stop caring about the details and I surrender it to grace, the facts don't really seem to matter, and things start falling into place. I'm gonna listen to myself, I'm not gonna listen to anybody else. I'm gonna listen to myself, 'cause I'm the one who knows, I'm the one who knows. I'm gonna listen to myself, I'm not gonna listen to anybody else. I'm gonna listen to myself, 'cause I'm the one who knows, I'm the one who knows. The world is full of everyone's opinions about what everybody should and shouldn't do, but now I'm listening to me. You best start listening to you. I'm gonna listen to myself, I'm not gonna listen to anybody else. I'm gonna listen to myself, 'cause I'm the one who knows, I'm the one who knows. I'm gonna listen to myself, not gonna listen to anybody else. I'm gonna listen to myself, 'cause I'm the one who knows, I'm the one who knows. Something in me knows, something in me knows, something in me knows. Chatter in my ears, I find that quiet voice inside me. I am listening, I am guided, I am safe. I'm listening, a still small voice. I'm listening, I'm listening.
As always, I hope you enjoyed the song and are singing along, even if the words aren't up there, and just, you do like you do in the radio. You're driving and you don't know the song, but when that chorus comes up, you're the best singer in the world. So make sure you're enjoying our time, and let's go ahead and get into some announcements here. And of course, we do our daily release and renew, the spiritual practice for Lent 2021. Hope you can join us daily. If not, the recordings are up. This week, again, it may be a little sporadic with time. I won't always be able to be on at 12 because, again, I'm preparing for my LNO this week. So just look out for it. If you can't catch it at the exact time that we're live, then catch it later and still do the practice. Next week, we'll be talking about will, that divinely guided choices. And I will tell you that if you pay attention to wisdom today, next week will make a lot more sense, because it is that power that one will lead into the next. Our annual meeting will be Sunday, April 18th, 2021. Members will be able to vote for different aspects, but everyone is welcome. It will be a hybrid, online as well as in person. More information to come on that, but just mark your date for that. And as always, if you feel so moved, let's go ahead and we can go to the website and use the contribute button. And as I always tell people, if you are using your phone, just turn your phone lengthwise, the button will appear. YouTube on our header at the main page, They always click on the PayPal link there, and you can always mail it into our office, where our office staff will go ahead and take care of that for you. And as always, if you wish and do a lot of shopping on Amazon Smile, even though we are getting out a little bit more, we still do a lot of online shopping. You can name us as your nonprofit on Amazon Smile, and every purchase will give us just a small amount to help the ministry move forward. And we are so grateful for your gifts. As always, let's recite together. The vision we hold is in oneness. We co-create a world inspired by the practice of love, peace, and harmony for all. What is ours to do? To serve our community through affirmative prayers, teachings, and service. What do we believe? That there is one power, one presence, active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. And as I said, we are working on the month of wisdom, and we will talk more about this when we get to our lesson. So with that being said, we will be going into our song and then our meditation. And I really want you to activate yourself in this meditation, because not only have I incorporated a Tibetan enlightenment music in the background, and we are using the Charles Roth 12 Power Meditation, leading us from faith to strength to wisdom, but I also have a recorded singing bowl very low in the background as it's working on what would be our solar plexus chakra, but at the same note is also our power center for wisdom. So I thought that those three together would be great. So if you happen to be on your computer and put on headphones, you may feel even more from it. But if you're just watching, just quiet your mind and allow yourself to release the outer world and enter into that inner chamber, allowing it to permeate over you. So with that, I will see you back here with the lesson.
Guidance. discern, believe, divine wisdom flows through me. 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 Draw upon the Spirit for guidance. 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 Listen, trust, discern, believe. Listen, trust, discern, believe. Listen, trust, discern, believe. Listen, trust, discern, believe. Divine wisdom flows through me. Divine wisdom flows through me. Divine wisdom flows through me. Draw upon Spirit for guidance.
As we begin our meditation today, let us start by gently closing our eyes. And if you don't feel so moved, we do have a candle visualization going on that you may watch, and it will have the affirmations for today. I want you to go ahead and take your first deep breath in, filling up your diaphragm, filling up your lungs, and release. And let all the stress just melt away, and feel your shoulders just sink a little bit more. On your second breath, let's take a deep breath in. And on our exhalation, let's just allow everything of worry and anxiety to just leave our mind in this place, in this time. Take another deep breath in. And let's just breathe out. Just breathe out as we allow our bodies to sink into this moment, this time, this place that we know as the inner sanctum, as we release the sense consciousness of outer, and we enter into that area, that mystical center within ourselves, that part of our mind that is no longer connected to the temporal ego, but seeking to hear from the God mind, the divine mind within all of us. And we will focus and work through our powers till we settle into our power of wisdom. So let us gently bring our attention to the crown of our head, also known as the crown chakra. But it represents the Christ center in you. Then lower it into your forehead, representing your consciousness, and then to your solar plexus, representing the subconscious level of mind. But at the crown of your head, I want you to affirm, the Christ of God is quickened in me. And at the level of your forehead, focus your concentration there and affirm, I am aware that the Christ of God is quickened in me. And let us move our attention down to our solar plexus region, the seat of the feeling, and affirm, I am grateful that the Christ of God is quickened in me. Now let us call forth Peter, your disciple faculty of faith, by letting you focus of attention travel from the solar plexus to the faith center in the middle of your head. And let us affirm together. Christ in me calls forth Peter, my disciple faculty of faith. I have mountains moving faith in God. Now, let's let your focus of attention drop to the small of your back. Andrew, the strength center, and affirm. Christ in me calls forth Andrew, my disciple faculty of strength. I am strong in the Lord. Now from the strength center, we want to bring your attention forward to the solar plexus. It is just below your rib cage in the center of your body. Remember that solar means sun and plexus means center. This is the sun center, the center of light and wisdom. Let us affirm together. Christ in me calls forth James, the son of Zebedee, my disciple factor of wisdom and good judgment. And let us just focus on each of those levels as we see a brilliant white light just brighten those areas, knowing that we are invoking the power and wisdom through strength and faith. And as we continue to see the light expand with every breath we take, as we invoke these powers, let us just take a moment to say thank you, and thank you, and know that all that is to be done will be done, not my will. And we say it is and so it is, and we let it be as we close out this meditation with an Ashe, so mote be. Amen. And gently bring yourself back to this moment, this time. Moving from your inner sanctum back to your sense consciousness, allowing the eyes to open gently and slowly, knowing that we are centered in this light.
Spinning around, seems things are changing almost every day. Up and down, spinning around, but I find balance, I find my way, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace of God. There is clarity, there is wisdom, there is abundant grace, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace of God. Up and down, spinning around, seems things are changing almost every day. Up and down, spinning around, but I find balance, I find my way, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace of God. There is clarity, there is wisdom, there is abundant grace, centered in the peace peace of God. Centered in the peace of God. I am standing where love is landing, clear and open for the highest good. I am standing where love is landing, clear and open for the highest good. I am standing where love is landing, clear and open for the highest good. I am standing where love is landing, clear and open for the highest good. Centered in the peace of God. Centered in the peace of God. Centered in the peace of God. Centered in the peace of God.
As always, I want to welcome everyone here for our lesson today. And again, my name is Richard Pacheco, ministerial candidate for Unity. And today we're going to talk about wisdom. And the title is Astonishing Clarity. And it is one of the most powerful powers that we can use to bring clarity to our lives. So I want to bring it back up the slide here. Wisdom, the blend of knowledge from head and heart. And if you look at a 12 powers chart, you will notice that wisdom actually is in that center area, the pit of the stomach. So when we think about wisdom, we think about judgment, we think about intuition. So when we talk about this power, there is no dogmatic practice behind it. It is just that moment of clarity from which it comes. We know the story of Solomon, where he's given the choice to pick anything he wanted, and he chose wisdom. And when I look at the Bible and we look at the quotes within the Bible, Proverbs is what stands out for the wisdom chapter. In Proverbs 3:13 through 14, happy is the man who finds wisdom and the man who gets understanding, for the gain from it is better than the gain from silver, and its profits better than gold. Solomon himself has actually said, she is more precious than jewels, and nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life in her right hand, in her left hand are riches and honor. And we know from here that wisdom is the highest form of spiritual knowing, including divine judgment, discrimination, intuition, and other activities of the mind that come under the heading of pure knowing. It is represented by the apostle James, son of Zebedee, and you heard that in our meditation today. And the corresponding color is yellow, and as I said, the location is the pit of the stomach. So before I switch off the slide, let's talk about Charles Fillmore. And when we awaken to the reality of our being, the light beings to break upon us from within, and we know the truth. This is the quickening of James, our judgment faculty. When this quickening occurs, we find ourselves discriminating between the good and the evil. And when we talk about evil in these texts, we're talking about just the duality of things. We no longer accept the race standards or the teachings of the worldly wise, but we judge righteous judgment. We know within an inner intuition, and when we judge men and events for the new viewpoint. Knowledge comes, but wisdom lingers, sings the poet. This pertains to the intellectual development only. When man kindles the inner light, he speaks the words of authority to his subject faculties. Jesus represents the Son of God, consciousness in men, to whom was given dominion over the earth. The Son of God, man, is wholly spiritual, and he uses spiritual thoughts, words, and laws in all he does. So again, that's from Charles Fillmore's 12 Powers in the chapter of wisdom. So I wanted to get all of that knowledge out of the way, and again, just so that you hear it. So wisdom transpires over all things and has, endured through all religions, all spiritual practices because it's an intuitive knowing. So if you've ever come into contact with yourself and said, hey, I made a decision because in my gut, you're talking about the power of wisdom. Intuition told me, you're talking about the power of wisdom. But wisdom, like any other power, can either be misused or used for the betterment of yourselves. And what do I mean by that? Next week, we'll be talking about the power of will. And I've always shared the story with you when, things were tough, when I had my aha moment of how affirmative prayer works, was when I used the phrase, thy will be done. But prior to that, we receive a spark of wisdom. We receive an intuition that says, do something. And that wisdom can only come when we release the outer senses. See, our subconscious is programmed with all the things we received over years. When we talk about misusing or underdeveloped wisdom is when we get the ideas such as, and I guess this is a personal example, when people like to say, well, I'm loyal. And there's nothing wrong with loyalty. But if we're loyal to that which does not serve us, so if we're loyal to our fears, we're loyal to a friend or a partner who's maybe doing us wrong, or we're loyal to something else that's not serving us. Or even if we're loyal to, just an ideal because we were brought up with that ideal. A speaker, Connie Pedestra, used to say it best. It's like when you turn 18, you have the power of choice to change anything that was placed into your mind prior to that day. And that's what the power of wisdom is. The power of wisdom is an intuitive knowing. When we can get that ego out of the way, that part of us that says, I need to be right. When we can get that part of us out of the way, we can hear that small, still voice say, here's what needs to be done. And we know as a feeling it's right. Deepak Chopra, I love the story he told, and I think it was in the 7 Spiritual Laws. And he talked about a story of a CEO in India, and the way the CEO made decisions, he used to say, I eat my decisions. So basically, if he ate it and it gave him indigestion, he knew he wasn't going to do it. But if he ate it and it felt right, then he knew he acted upon it and it brought him much success. And we sometimes look at powers like this and we only invoke it when we're in dire need. And this is something we need to use daily. I've told this story before, but and again, it's those aha moments. I like to create a file cabinet in my life. Charles Fillmore always says that truth can be proven. So as things happen to me, I like to file them in a place in my mind to say, hey, this power worked for me because. And I remember this because it started as a gut feeling, and I was driving away from work. And as I'm driving and I'm getting closer to the turnoff to jump onto the highway, I get a feeling in the pit of my stomach like, okay, why don't we just go straight today? And I don't understand what it is, but everything is telling me to go straight. So this divine idea has sparked itself, and the next thing that happened, of course, I had to invoke will because at that point I had to make a decision. But intuition was already speaking to me. And because I had opened myself to intuition, it allowed me to look at the situation and then say, okay, I'm a little confused. Thy will be done. And I made the decision. Now, on that day, the decision was to go straight. So I continued over mountaintop rather than jumping onto the highway. Couldn't have been more than 5 to 10 feet past the turnoff where the radio blurs that traffic is backed up all the way back to the entrance I would have been in all the way home. So had I not taken the local roads, I probably would have been stuck in traffic for many, many hours. So again, this is just showing that we don't have to wait for those big traumatic times to invoke any of these powers. We want to tap into this knowing. But wisdom also plays a part in our past. So when things have happened to us and we look back on it And this was the premise of the podcast I do, and even the business name that I had come up with, which is With Every Encounter, is having that wisdom, that intuitive knowledge to look back on past relationships, to look back on past hurts and take a lesson from it and be able to say, why did this happen for my good? Now, the author talks about her past relationships, and she even made amends by thanking them for the lesson, because wisdom doesn't always come with the knowing or the spark right in that moment, even though that's what we're building up so that it becomes a natural part of us. But sometimes we can look back and say, hey, this relationship, this job I was fired from, this friendship that ended, what can I see within it? And our master teacher says you want to judge rightly. So when we look at past relationships, we look at past hurts, we look at past jobs, we know to look at it and say, hey, you know what? Because of that relationship, because of that job, because of that, I've become that much better. I'm that much stronger in today's world. It is for us to bring that wisdom into justice. And it's the same thing as when we look past into the future. We use that intuitive sense to make that next step that we just talked about. And we make decisions from that place. We do a lot within our world, and when we filter this power through our subconscious that's been programmed with fear and lack, because this is what society says we are to be. I always used to joke with my wife and say, yeah, I'm part alien, because I never felt a part of society. I always felt like I was the outsider. Now, it doesn't mean that I didn't fall in line with everyone else as I was growing up and did the right thing, as they say, or I part of the solution, as they call it, but that solution never seemed to come. How many of you have gone through that same situation where you were told to do something or to be something or do something, and it's supposed to happen, but it never did? You know, I spent many years in traditional religion where when those questions could not be answered to me, if though that wisdom, that intuitive sense that there's something that's not just right with this practice, I was told it's not for me to understand. So when I found unity, I was elated when they said, investigate, practice, prove it, because that's where truth is. You know, even the Buddhists talk about the attachment, when we attach ourselves to something. So when we attach ourselves to being right, we lose the ability to be the best person we are, because our right, our egoistic right, that temporal right, that temporary situations that says I'm right today can change tomorrow. But now I'm right. And then it'll change the next day, because then I'm right. But when wisdom comes in, you'll look at each and every one of those situations and say, today, I let go of my ego. I let go of that temporal sense, and I get into that one finite, individualized wisdom, which is the source of my being. And you allow that to flow. And you create that vacuum that allows the idea to come. Now, that doesn't mean that the idea comes in and there's not fear behind it, because again, we are taught and we are living from the old programming. You heard Tanya and Lee talk about Ho'oponopono, and sometimes that's where that cleansing comes in. We have to clean that old subconscious, and in cleaning it, and that power of wisdom comes through. And it allows to flow through that filter and come into manifest. So what is your intuition telling you today? What have you done or have not done because wisdom came through and you were afraid of allowing it to work for you? You know, let's go back to the story of Solomon when he chose wisdom. You know, many people could look at that story and say, oh, well, he chose wisdom. You know, he wants to be that wise, sage walking around in sandals and being poor for the rest of his life. Yet we know by the stories that he received great wealth. We talk about the Temple of Solomon. What is that wealth to you? If you choose wisdom today, what is it in your life that you can come from? See, wisdom is one part of the 12 powers. And when we talk about abundance, we talk about prosperity, we know that when we use those words, we're not talking about just monetary. We're talking about joy and love and peace and health in our lives. And that joy and peace comes from a place of wisdom because of the decisions we make. So if there's something in your life right now that just doesn't seem to be working, having faith that something's better is great. Having the strength to continue or to persevere through it is great. But it's about invoking the power of wisdom to make the right decision, to make that intuitive decision. The one that has no fear, has no waver. It is steadfast, it is truth. And you'll feel it. People ask me all the time, how do you know when it's wisdom? I say, because when it feels right in my heart. The rest of my body might be trembling. What is mine to do? But wisdom makes it feel peaceful inside of me, and I act upon it. Our fifth principle says it's not enough to know the truth, but we must act upon that truth. And this is why. So one of our affirmations today, and we'll talk about that after the talk when we talk about our homework, is I know what to do and I will do it. And why is that? Because we get this intuitive knowledge, something that tells us to go out and do something, and we don't do it. We want what's easy in life. And there's nothing wrong with that. But my mentors always told me it's not about working easy, it's about working smart. And it is in that work that we become better, we become more intuitive. Our meditation is a tool. Our meditation allows us to quiet the mind. Now, I say quiet the mind doesn't mean we stop the mind. We're going to still have thoughts. But it's in that practice that we can continue to move through. One of the exercises that recently, I talked about this on my podcast recently, was that when negative thoughts start to run through, and as simple as it is, I was taught to just say cancel, cancel, cancel. And the thought will dissipate, at least for the moment. But by doing that, when the thought dissipates, it allows me to open myself up to this wisdom, this intuitive knowing of who we are and what we can do. The problem is that, are we allowing ourselves to be open to that? Or are we immediately moving our mind from that intuitive knowing to the intuitive I am right situation? Because we need to understand that while I am right, everything can be going totally wrong. So I want you to look at your life right now. I want you to go out, and as you go through your day today, as you go through your week, when you get to that nudge in your stomach that says, this is good, but there's something more. Or this isn't right, but I'm loyal, so I'm going to stick to this. One of the major talks in traditional religion is that we spend too much time being loyal to the characters rather than loyal to the teachings. And wisdom tells me that as I'm learning from my master teacher, Jesus, and I'm learning from all the other ascended masters like Buddha, Allah, Muhammad, and all of that, when I learn from these ascended masters, that intuitive knowing begins to become greater and louder in my life. We joke about, wanting to be right all the time. And I always joke about me being a big guy and I want to get a shirt that says I love being wrong, because when I'm wrong, I can learn. When I learn, I can grow. And when I grow, I can share. And when I share, I help someone else grow. And that way we change the universe. So I want you to keep that in mind today as you work through wisdom. Don't let the temporal you, the temporary you, stop you from being the best you can be. Be open. Allow that small, still voice to scream wisdom at you and say, go do this. This is what makes the best you today and in all days. Don't play small. Play large. Be out there. Be the light for someone in the world, but that can only come from the work we do and being divinely guided, being divinely intuitive. And it is that intuition that will lead you to be the best Christ you can be. With that being said, as always, I am grateful for speaking with you today. Go out and practice this. After the song, I'll be back with the homework and we'll go over that quickly. I hope you got something for today. It's a little shorter than my normal talks, but I just want you to get that idea in your head. Let go of being who you think you are and let wisdom shower over you and drive you to that point of who you truly are. Love you and namaste.
This is a hymn for every light worker around the world, for every one of you whose voice has not been heard. This is a hymn to give you faith to rise above all the things we wish mankind had not become. This is a hymn to remind you to love. This is a hymn for every child living everywhere around the world, for each of you whose voice will someday soon be heard. This is a hymn to give you faith to heal mankind, to bring a love so bright its light won't be denied. This is a hymn and a prayer for your lives. Oh, we are the light of the world. Through acts of love, our voices will be heard. So let your love fall on all mankind, and may this hymn give you courage to shine. This is a hymn for every light worker around the world, for every one of you whose voice has not been heard. This is a hymn to give you faith to rise above all the things we wish mankind had not become. This is a hymn to remind you to love. This is a hymn to remind you to love. This is a hymn to remind you to love.
So let's go over the homework for this week. So we want to affirm this week, and again, we do it 3 times. We do it through breathing exercises, but we want to be focused when we do this and affirm, I know what to do and I do it. Divine wisdom now guides me to my next right step and I take it. Divine wisdom inspires me to take the next right step. Our homework this week is to wear something yellow for a week and notice the impact it has. Perhaps your thinking seems clearer. Maybe you've noticed intuitive hunches. Use the affirmation, I know what to do, and I do it, like a mantra. Notice its impact. So as you go through the day, just continue to, anytime you have a decision to make, just affirm, I know what to do, and I do it. And even if it's not coming, just as they say, use it as a mantra, just a repeating with every breath until you feel clear. And before making a decision, even simple ones, pray and ask yourself what divine wisdom would do. And also take time to reflect on wisdom. Think of a time when you made a difficult decision, left a job, started a job, let go of a friendship, or brought bought a new home. What values came to the forefront to help you make that decision? How has wisdom informed the current priorities in your life? What is the best advice, wisdom that has been given, that you have given to yourself? So just use those questions to reflect a little bit so you understand more about wisdom and how the power is invoked. With that being said, this is a time of the service where we share our time and gifts as we practice the law of circulation. And let us take our gifts in our hands. If you have it, if you don't, or have already sent it in, we are grateful for you. But let us imagine, let's tap into that piece of imagination as we see ourselves typing into our computers, or maybe writing out a check, and just feel it and see it, and that joy that rises because you are giving. And as we do this, let's place our hands over and just say, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And let's just see it being sent out and see it doing the good work that it's meant to be done. And we let it go, and we say it is so, and we let it be. And so it is. And as always, together, let us just raise our hands and bless our children, whether they're in the room with you or bring them to the forefront of your heart and mind as we say, we love you, we bless you, we honor you, and we see that divinity in you, and we see you doing great and wonderful things for the years to come. So with that, I always want to thank you for being here with us, knowing that, you are a part of this family, whether we're distanced or separated, and that together we grow a community that is working through a positive path into a spiritual living. So let us just end quickly with our prayer for protection. As we say, the light of God surrounds us, and we affirm for ourselves that I am light. The love of God enfolds us, and I am love. The power of God protects us, and I am power. And the presence of God watches over us, and I am that presence. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we are so grateful. And so it is. And we say amen, and we allow it to be. So go in wisdom this week, my family, and see how that intuitive knowing comes into mind, and allow the presence and the power of faith and strength help push you to make those right decisions this week. And I hope you have a wonderful week. And if no one else has told you, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I bid you namaste. As the divinity in me sees that big and beautiful divinity in each and every one of you. And I will see you either later on today or this week.